We have an awesome panel, three dead set legends that we've got here today. I'm going to start. I'm going to go introduce. They're going to ask a couple of questions, have a chat. Fairly well off the cuff. We've got a couple of things prepared. And then each of these, not only are they going to give you some expertise, but they've got a great offer that you can grab just because you're here today. First person, do we have a doctor in the house? Yes, we do. We have Dr. Richard Kay from Top Talent Agency. He's known for working with entrepreneurs and helps them accelerate growth in their business for nearly 3 decades. It's pretty cool to stay around for that long and be helping people for that long. He's assisted people improve their bottom line, but not only that, he is the recipient of the White House Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. Welcome, Richard. Let's just have a quick hello before we get on to Kim and Misty. How you doing, good sir?
Good to see you again, my friend. Nice to be here.
It's fantastic to have you. I'm going to jump on to Kim Serafini. She is the founder and CEO of Positive Prime, the technology or Positive Prime Technology Limited, a leading health and edutech company, a best-selling author, an internationally recognized executive coach and inventor. I love inventors. So cool. Of the Lithos therapy. We're going to hear a little bit more about that, I'm sure. Kim, hey, great to see you here as well.
Lovely to meet you, Steve. I must be the only Australian who actually does not know you and has never heard of you. But I would imagine it's likewise.
That's okay. You're going to get electricity soon. Um, it's so funny that we've got to travel all the way to a Canadian networking event to meet a fellow Aussie. But hey, that's life. And another sales trainer. Sensational. Misty, we've had a good chat before we got on air today. Misty also lives in Australia. She lives at Chinchilla. I think I got that right.
You did.
In the middle of nowhere.
You
She's
I
four
would, I
hours
would,
from.
I would agree with that. I concur that it was in the middle of nowhere when I tried to go meet with you.
Yeah. You certainly found out how big Australia was. Oh, we're just going to duck over there. No, you're not. It's that far. Hey, Misty lives here in Oz and she specializes in helping people overcome their sales anxiety and what customers are really thinking. She's well known for making selling easy. She's written 2 books and which follows the simple strategies on how to close any sales. And like Ryan Reynolds, Misty is easily found on Google and hopefully for the right reasons. Misty, welcome along.
Well, Ryan's found for the right reasons because he's popular. Hi, how you going, guys?
Look, I've got the microphone. I'm going to start with you. What does grand giving mean to you and how do you bring it into your celebrations?
It's really funny, actually. I've been thinking about this question because I run business at breakfast and I've been there for 10 years. And as a sales trainer with a networking group, I actually don't teach the giving part so much as the learning how to talk about yourself part. And you'll find that the giving part happens by itself. So I kind of go down that Jim Rohn line of I'll look after me for you and you look after you for me. And as a result, things tend to just work. So by teaching people how to say what they do easier and teach them how to get their own customers, somehow they're able to pass that message on to others and the group helps them, or by default, they're able to help the group because they've worked out how to hear what a person is saying that they do and who they work with. And so, yeah, I seem to do it in a very counterintuitive way that the group ends up giving to each other as by default of learning how to speak about themselves.
Fantastic. Thanks. Now, the next question I'm actually going to give to Richard because we've known each other for quite some time in and out of a number of networking events, and this is quite appropriate for him. How has giving first helped you create meaningful and lasting partnerships?
I love that question, and I'll tell you why, Steve. Just show up and give. 20 years ago, I shut my chiropractic practice. And by the way, when you talk about remote, where I live, I don't know if you have Costco in Australia, but for those in the US, the nearest Costco is 2.5 hours away. So talk about being out in nowhere. when you go to take, when you're what many people would call an energy vampire, when you suck the oxygen out of the room, people run from you. You show up, and I love what you said, and I say it a little bit differently. No one cares what you do, ladies and gentlemen. No one cares. You go into chat rooms and you say, I do this, I want to do this, I want to speak here. Talk about what you can do, how you can serve whoever is in the room or your prospects. How do you serve people? What are they going to learn, gain, or grow from? It's health, it's finances, it's relationships. Those are the things that people want to know about. Tell them how they're going to get there. So when you just give, people will come, they'll flock to you. And Susan and Carolyn, I was there in the very beginning, didn't ask them for anything, just showed up and served. Same thing with you, Steve. You just showed up and served these amazing women, these ladies, so that they can create events like this over and over again. So the bottom line is show up in service. You'd be amazed at how much business comes your way.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you so much. And for people that know me, I love alliteration. And here's something for them to remember. Nobody cares about what you do or what you've done. It's what you deliver. So they're the 3Ds. So think about that. I'm going to ask the same question to Kim. It's a very powerful question. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how has Giving First helped you create some meaningful relationships?
Oh, brilliant question. And thank you, Dr. K, because that coaching just like zapped me right into the zone. When we did our little re-streaming the other day, I told some powerful stories about how I have contributed way beyond and above, and there have been breakthroughs for me in my business. Positive Prime is precisely the perfect gift. That's what I feel like I'm doing with my life, having been the inventor of something that works, scientifically validated, neuroscience. Wow. Your brain goes into a state of flow, but it's not that you want. It's what emerges from your brain state when it's synchronized alpha and theta waves. It means you're more creative. It means you can actually literally achieve your goals, make better quality decisions. You can connect with people on a much deeper level. And so maybe only a couple of months ago, a very young woman who was interviewing me on a podcast said to me, do you know, Kim, I think it would be a crime and very selfish if you just didn't give Positive Prime to the world. And I thought, wow, what a perspective. That's what we do. We here in my world that is inside Positive Prime, we focus on what are we giving to our subscribers and our users for their benefit, to their advantage, for their lives to become brighter and more beautiful. And it shapes everything every day.
Absolutely. And that's one of the parts of one of the other questions is a specific example of what you've done to create a collaboration. So I'm going to throw it back to Richard and Misty. Is there one specific example that you can recall that you just came from a place of giving and serving, and all of a sudden something has just multiplied and just gone crazy? Any examples from either of you guys?
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
You can go first, Richard.
Okay. Some of you know what I do, and that's since I shut my practice, I've been serving entrepreneurs. I help people get publicity, whether it's an article in the Los Angeles Tribune magazine, being interviewed at NASDAQ, being featured on the Jumbotron. I'm going to go back about 30 years. Anyone know the name Lisa Nichols? Someone? Okay. Lisa Nichols and I met at an organization named CEO Space, and that was about 30 years. Lisa and I know one another before The Secret, before she was on Oprah. Her light has kind of dimmed because it's 30 years since that movie. Well, these days, I called her up about 2 or 3 months ago. And when I was helping her through CEO Space to raise her capital, to get on Oprah, et cetera, we haven't been in touch for decades. Called her up a couple of months ago, asked her what she was doing, invited her to speak at one of our conferences, something called the Trailblazer Summit. Lisa said, absolutely. And beyond that, she has now hired us. Lisa runs about $100 million company. She hired us to do her publicity, to get her at the NASDAQ studio, to get her on the NASDAQ Jumbotron. I wasn't looking for anything back from her. I invited her to be a guest on our show. After seeing what we did, she says, I choose you. So now, David Fagan, who's the president of Top Talent Agencies, the executive producer on her Broadway show that was, I guess, 3 nights ago, Monday night. And she's brought us on to do her publicity just because I simply gave, never asked anything from her. So, Steve, that's a pretty powerful story.
That's an awesome story. Misty, have you got one to share? And then I'm going to hit you each with I want you to think about this now, a short golden nugget, a tip on how people can either think about it or do it. What can you think about and how can you do about giving first? So I'll go to Misty. Have you got a good example of what's happened with you when you gave and what that has built into?
For some reason, people call me the most generous person in the world. My children don't necessarily believe so on certain days when I send them to school, but I can't help but give sales tips like all the time, as in like they just fall out of my mouth. And over the years, what I've been networking for 12 years, people have said to me, don't give everybody all the information or they'll never buy it. And I've never believed that ever. And I say this all the time. It's like you can give everything away and they'll come back to you when they have a question. Like, so it doesn't matter. It's not, they're not using it because they didn't pay for it or they don't not believe in it or they don't want stuff for free. But if you just go about being who you are and talking about what you do or talking about other people and pointing people in the right directions, you tend to find that you're the one that everybody goes to ask questions of, hey, do you know this person? Can you help me with this thing? Can you point me in the direction of something? And so when I say that to others, say, you know, I have to charge this much because I'm worth that. Don't worry if you give away some stuff. Don't worry about, you know, if you've helped someone for free. Trust me, it all comes back like more than tenfold when you're known as the person to go to ask for the help in the first place. And then the difference becomes learning how to move people into it. Do you have a program? If you don't have a program, you have to give it away. And that's okay. I spent the first 4 years of networking in BNI paying whatever it is, $1,500 a year, just giving sales training to everyone for free because I didn't have it as an actual thing. And I found I became the most popular person in my city for all the networking because I just have a one-to-one. They'd sell it the other side of it, you know. I just find that when you just freely give who you are, the rest of it tends to work itself out. And don't worry, the money's on the other side of whatever it is you're selling.
Absolutely. And the big thing, I do lots of free events. And like you, give a lot away. People think I got so much from it. But the philosophy that I have is just a very, very simple one. You can give the information, but they pay for the implementation.
Yeah, absolutely. I say, like, I'm not after ticket sales. I give free trainings all the time. If you need extra help, have a coaching session and fix it in fine tuning. But just give out all the information, and those who truly need extra help, they come, they ask. Who else are they going to ask? But the person who gave the information, right?
Of course. So what golden nugget, Richard, Kim, and or Misty, would you say to either change the thinking or a little process that you do that, okay, here's what I do in a giving way? How would you advise somebody to turn their thinking around from, hey, I've got to get paid for everything to, hey, let's give it away and really get the ball rolling? Who's got one to start with?
Go ahead.
Go on, Richard.
Oh, you going, Kim?
Do you know, I have always thought about what is it that I could actually do for them. I think a lot of people, they stop at the effort for someone else, and I go out of my way to physically do something for them. I'm a big one for talk is cheap and action is everything. So if I'm going to tell somebody I'm giving them something, it's usually I'm going to actually physically do something for them. And that leads to, I believe, a little more trust in the relationship because I can deliver, as you said, Steve. It's all about delivering. And I think that what then happens is that you align with your own integrity, and that becomes very obvious. And that is more and more rare these days. So that's my top tip. Think about what you could actually do for someone else.
I'm just going to jump on that, and it's beautiful. Thank you, Kim. Is with the world of AI, the Unreal support out there, and it's better to create that relationship with somebody because I'm giving you this, I'm helping you with this, and you cut through everything when you start building that relationship. And it's very simple, the law of reciprocity, that you keep giving them, they get results, but they also see what you're made of as well as what you do and what you deliver. So, yeah, thank you so much for that. Richard, your tip.
I'm going to quote somebody who had a hairstyle pretty much like mine. Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world. Show up, take a stand. Be that person that people say, holy shit, that person just gives and gives and gives, and look at their business. And then look at that person who takes and takes and takes and is whining that they don't have business." So be the change. And for those of you who have kids or grandkids, let them see how you be. There's another wonderful statement. What you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. So how do you show up in the world? Show up, be the model, let people see that it works.
Beautiful. Well said. Misty, one tip, one mindset change, one way that somebody could get started into the green giving.
I have two very fast ones. The first one is Ubuntu. Is that how you say it? Ubuntu. It means, it's an African word. It means I am because we are. So basically, I can't run business at breakfast and be successful if everybody else isn't. So I have to help everyone be successful in order to be successful. So that's an attitude. And then the other one is treat what you do like a hobby. Like relax and enjoy it. I mean, everybody I ask, they say, oh no, I have to get paid for this, this, and this. Would you do it for free? Like, do you like it that much that you do it for free until you're like 1,000 years old? And they go, yes. Well, then treat it that way. Just relax and enjoy yourself, and you will find it attracts everybody else who wants to feel relaxed. And when they're relaxed around you, you end up with the work that you're after because you collect all the relaxed people that know you're the one that's going to help them get to where they need to be.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And I know we've got a person in the room, Greg Smith, who is a good friend of mine who's actually never heard of me in his words. He's actually called his business Buntu. He's had to chop the I off Ubuntu. His business is called Buntu. And there's a great reason he's done that, is that exact same philosophy, is being able to help people, help build people, and help people stand out with who they are and be their true, authentic self. So, hey, I'm just going to give somebody a random plug that if you want to start implementing what Misty said about Ubuntu, Greg's here, Ubuntu is a great business. And he believes so much in what you just said that he called his business that.
Here is our next breakout. Can you see my slide? Thumbs up, anybody? Good, I got some thumbs up. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, is Steve
Hello.
back? There
and
you
I'm
are.
back and I'm off mute. There you go. You don't have to panic.
I do. Steve knows me kind of well now. If you're planning for this, that I do panic. Just slightly. It's just slightly. But then I go and do my positive prime session, and then I'm all okay again. So that works very well. Okay, Steve, back to you. We have some time to talk a little bit about the Valley of the Grand Connection, and I also want to talk about my magazine, and I'd like to introduce some of our group leaders who are here today. That's my plan for this moment. And I want to hear some superpowers. I would like everybody to share their superpower in the chat right now. And if there's a few phenomenal ones that you've been in a room and you heard one that stood out, please put your hand up and share it with me. Joyce, is your hand up, or is that part of that's your background, I think. I'm not sure, Joyce. The hand, but it's in the wrong spot. Anybody? Anyone want to share a superpower from the room? My heart's love. That's great, Kim. I create happy, joyful memories, Santa Papa.
The legendary Andrew, come on down.
Bonnie. It sounds like you're a good facilitator. Okay, Andrew, what was a superpower that you heard in the room that stood out for you?
Mark Jarrett. So I connected with Mark probably after a Grand Connection event, and he runs like a ridiculous number of WhatsApp groups, and it's just amazing all the things that he's doing to connect people in different ways.
I know, and I'm waiting to meet you in person, Mark. We didn't get to, our paths didn't cross when I was in London, but I want to make sure you're real, because you're up 24/7, I think. You're on those WhatsApp for all the time. I don't know when you sleep. Amazing what you do. Chu,
Yeah,
what would you like to... Oh, sorry, Mark.
Thank you. Yes, WhatsApp groups never sleep, and I don't sleep much either. But it's wonderful, the global village that we now inhabit, and the fact that the northern hemisphere meets the southern hemisphere. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is amazing. And we're here from all continents right now, except for probably Antarctica. So it's so cool that everybody's here today. Chu, I got to meet you at JV Connect, Michael Whitehouse's event he had the last 2 days. Lovely to meet you here today. What did you do in your room?
Thanks for the invite, and it's definitely a marathon for me, but hey, have my mocktail and we're good to go. And been on the beach. So I love that in my group, we have such big hearts. Our superpower is about really thinking, geez, how best, can I support each other, put superpower here and another superpower there, put them together, boom, even more mega power, I guess. I want a special call out for Kerr, because Kerr, he said his superpower is about the follow-up, and we know the fortune is a follow-up, and that has been one of the things that I'm really getting better and better. So thank you for that wonderful reminder, Kerr.
Thank you, Chu. I'm going to pass this over to you, Steve, while I find some links for people.
Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with the Grand Connection. And it's interesting that I don't get to many events, but I've seen it grow and grow and grow. And you've got a lot of different parts to the Grand Connection now. And I've seen it go from a great concept and a great idea to a good networking event. You used to hold just some good networking events, but it's gone way past all of that, all the different areas that if you're a podcaster, if you're an author, a coach, there are different specialized groups that you can go and hang out with, micro families. And I call this is a family that you go in, but you don't have to go to all of them to get extreme value. I turn up to probably less than one event per month, and I still get extreme value by being a part of the actual Grand Connection. The fact that you've got connections with other people and to other networks, and one of the guys that he may have been going to be here, Brian Daly, him and I formed a fantastic relationship. I've been a part of his epic networking events. Him and I have created a partnership in doing some stuff previously and worked with him on his business. They're the little things that when you come to the different events, and if I give you a tiny little bit of training for you guys, think about coming to any of these events with the 4 Ps. The first P is the old networking. Who's going to buy from me? Purchase. And that's the old way of networking. Who can I sell to today? Who's going to buy my stuff today? That's linear, and that's the smallest thing. And that's what the Grand Connection is not about. It's the next few that is where the real leverage is. And the next one is pass on, which is referrals. When you come with a clear way of how you help people, there's going to be lots of people around that may not need your services, but they know lots of other people who will. So always come with the open mind as who can you listen and refer you to, that person to, or look for people that you can partner with to get out and serve other people's people. And that's when you've got your partner and promote. Are they going to be promotional people that are just going to say, yep, let's do a swap, let's promote each other? Or how can you create something and partner with each other? And there's so many different people, some from here and some from other places, that we've created partnerships with. I create partnerships with speaker trainers, so podcast people, all of those sorts of things. So when you come to the Grand Connection, don't just look at it and say, oh, this is a networking event, I'm going to check out the events. No, check out the people, run the 4 Ps. How can we collaborate together? How can I add value, the most value to your people? And that's when you're going to get the most support from the family. And don't hesitate to come here and say, hey guys, is there anybody here that can help me with this? The philosophy here is grand giving all across. So don't hesitate to come to ask and say, is there anybody here that can help me with this? And because it's a family feel, then people are going to put their hand up. And most other networking events, virtually start and stop just before an event starts, finishes when the event ends, but you've got 24/7 support. So those of you who aren't currently members and you look at it and say, well, okay, well, there's an investment, but I can only get to that and that, but I can't get to everything. I don't get to everything. I get to probably the least amount of events of most people that are here, yet there's still extreme value by being a part of it. So come with that in mind and look at what the girls have built, Susan in particular, with the vision of being a complete friendly ecosystem.
So I think we're going on to a breakout room. Steve, I'm going to get you to start talking about it, but I know I need to help you because I didn't tell you how this game works. We're going to play the chain game, and I'm going to move this back to Steve doing this. And while I set up the room, Steve, are you there? Where are you?
I'm here, and thank you. Totally confused. What the heck is the chain game, and what am I going to talk about? But if we're going to go by the slides and what we've previously spoken about, what connection are you looking for? Now, here's the thing. Don't start what you're saying, I'm looking for anybody who. That's a recipe for disaster. Clarity creates cash. Be very clear on who you're looking for, where people may know they may be, and what sort of benefit you could add to them.
Hey, welcome back.
Did you tell us to come back on our room?
No, but I'm gonna, yeah, I did say so I could start knowing when it's a good time, then I'll close the rooms. I was leaving them open a little longer. So I don't know where do I close it? All rooms are closing. Okay. How was that?
Amazing.
So
Very
these
cool
are the
people.
questions I actually use in my one-on-ones with our members. As I try to get to know everybody so that I can find connections for them. And Braden, we can do some of those on the podcast too.
Just going to say, those are great podcast interview questions.
Yeah. I thought, well, what do when I have one-on-ones, what do I ask other people to get to know them? And so I started writing down what those questions were. And then, of course, my friend ChatGPT helped me refine them a little bit and make them not so wordy. And that's what I do. So when I have a one-on-one with new members, this is what I want to know because I want to know how to refer you. That's really what I do, and who you can collaborate with. What audiences are you reaching? And these are the things you want to think about when you're listening in the rooms and you're meeting somebody. Do they have the same, are we reaching the same audience? Do we have some of the same skills maybe, or do we have complementary skills, and how can that work together? So you're trying to really get to know somebody to see how can we partner in some way? What can we do together to support each other grow, both of us? Because of course, together is better.